Welcome. This is your host, Dub, FFG, Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies. Today, we're going to talk about the top 5 fantasy running backs for 2023. Let's get to it. And as always, before we get started, go ahead and hit that like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because you know it helps our channel grow, and you know we definitely appreciate your support. Now, let's get to it. At number 5, we have Nick Chubb. Nick and the Cleveland Browns look to be in the thick of things this season. They plan on making some noise and some big time noise, and Nick Chubb will be definitely a part of it. We're looking at 1,300 yards rushing and 12 TDs prediction for him from Fantasy Football GOAT Strategy. The Cleveland Browns system, of course, is based solely off the performance of Deshaun Watson, and we're looking for Deshaun to return to the quarterback of old prior to the Cleveland Browns. That's great things for Nick Chubb and the wide receivers of the Cleveland Browns. So, look for Chubb to do some big things, and he definitely should be in the top 5 of fantasy running backs. Next, we're looking at King Henry. That's Derrick Henry, the Tennessee Titans workhorse. Yes, Henry is in an offense that's, we're going to see. It's a wait and see kind of thing. But even though that is the case, Derrick Henry should still have 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns because he's the workhorse. He's the main focus of that particular offense. There's nobody on the Titans that's going to be the focus like King Henry. And Derrick Henry is the man. So like usual, Derrick Henry should be in the top 5 fantasy running backs. Here's a word from our sponsors. When you look in the mirror, do you see a GOAT? Are you the best that fantasy football has to offer? If so, then wear it on your chest. Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies has new arrivals for the new fantasy season. See the link in the description or scan the QR code. Pick up your gear now. Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies. Next up, we have Saquon Barkley. Now, Saquon had some contract disputes prior to the season. So this 2023 season may be an angry Saquon. So because again, contract season. He's only on a 1-year deal. So we're looking at 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns combined. Saquon is out to show and prove. He's out to prove some people wrong. And Saquon is looking and he's focused to being the man in New York. Because again, everything flows through Saquon. That entire offense without Saquon Barkley in it and with the Giants, nothing that you won't want to be a part of. But from a fantasy perspective, he will be a top 5 fantasy football running back this season. Next, we're looking at Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler was the number 1 fantasy running back last season as we predicted. And he should definitely stay in the top 5 this season. But we're just going to drop him down 1 slot this time simply because of his offensive coordinator. He's changed offensive coordinator, so he has to fit into that system. He will still carry the workload from the running back perspective. And we're looking at around 1,000 yards rushing, 600 yards receiving, and 15 touchdowns combined. But in the Kellen Moore system, the quarterback throws the ball a lot. And that's fine because that's where the game is today. And he has that type of quarterback that can throw it around. But his productivity will slide just a little bit from a fantasy perspective. But again, this is Austin Ekeler, the workhorse, the workman. He's one of the few on Twitter that encourage you to draft him for fantasy. So he pays attention to fantasy. So he's well aware of it, and he's well aware of how his load affects your team. So draft Austin Ekeler if you can. And finally, number 1, that's Christian McCaffrey. This season, Christian McCaffrey will have to carry the load for the San Francisco 49ers offense. Now, he lost his traditional quarterback, Jimmy G. Brock Purdy stepped in last year, did a great job. However, that was part season and that was 1 year. And as you know, teams that have film now on that quarterback that had a good 1 year, his stats, his productivity tends to go down, particularly unless he's an elite quarterback. And I don't think anybody's listening thinking Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback. He's on an elite team. He's not an elite quarterback. So Christian McCaffrey is going to be charged with helping out Brock Purdy a lot. So we're looking at 1,100 yards rushing, 700 yards receiving, and 14 touchdowns combined. Again, that's Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco 49ers. And just to recap, the top 5 running backs according to Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies for 2023, we're looking at Christian McCaffrey, Austin Ekeler, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Nick Chubb. This is your host, Dub, FFG. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Question: Is your NFL team winning the Super Bowl this season? If so, then you better get your new gear for the new season. NFL Shop is providing with your new favorite team's apparel this season. Use the link below or scan the QR code to see a huge inventory of NFL teams apparel. Discount codes will be available throughout the season, so use the link. Shop now.